love watching Valentine's Day from afar. I do. I love watching, because this is one of the only holidays where if we see an incredible romantic gesture, like just something over the top, we assume he did something wrong. Like that's you never see a dude with 50 balloons and go, that's so sweet. You usually are like, yeah, he down bad, huh? No. What I think is cool is that with time, Valentine's Day matters less to the couple. You know, like initially when you start out, those first couple years, maybe even 3 years, this is tense. You want to make sure you make it this amazing. You got to show them how much you love them. You got to be thoughtful. They said something 6 months ago. I remember. That's the gift. And with time, that all starts to fade. I've watched couples older than me for a long time. I used to work at a restaurant, and while I was there for a little while, I was the bar back. So I wasn't the bartender, but I went and got ice. I went and just helped prep and stuff like that. And back when I was the bar back, I'd see all these couples that had been together 10, 20, 30 years, right? And it was amazing how little Valentine's Day meant to so many of them. Like at all. I don't know what year it is, but apparently there just comes a year in your relationship where you look at each other and go, are you tired? Me too. We could do nothing. We could do nothing. Those first 3 years, you don't even suggest it. Those first 3 years, no matter how tired you are, you're like, no, we have to go to this restaurant. We have to go to this restaurant and have a good time and spend all this money for everybody on Instagram. Because I love going to a restaurant on Valentine's Day and just listening. Like one of those restaurants that's got a Valentine's Day tasting menu, so you know it's all couples in there, and just sit there, take the AirPods out, and just be a witness, you know? Because those are the funniest fights. Y'all are already there. Y'all are eating. Y'all are cutting food, cutting food. You can tell from the way that they're cutting the steak, this is not a good night. Just, you're supposed to cut it with the knife, not the fork. I love a good quiet fight. I love when they lean in and they're like, not here. One of the couples that cracked me up the most when I was a bar back was this couple. They had been together like 30 years. And you ever meet people who are a perfect mismatch? Like, I don't know why they were together, because all they ever did was fight, but they loved it. They loved fighting with each other. They found their worst enemy and they married them. Like, it was incredible. They clearly were having fun fighting. They'd be laughing while they were fighting, just laughing at how bad the other one was getting. They would go tit for tat. It was beautiful to watch. I was like, this is real love. And one time he told me the story. He was an older fellow, and he told me the story about how mad she got one Valentine's Day. They had been together for 8 years, and he didn't do anything for Valentine's Day. She was very upset. She was very mad at him. And, you know, he's older than me. He's got more experience, more life experience. But I was like, I mean, bruh, you didn't do anything. Like, I mean, I think she might be entitled to be mad. You know? And he was like, no, she doesn't get to be mad, all right? She doesn't get to be mad because 3 days before Valentine's Day, I gave her my kidney. How am I gonna give you my kidney and then you still want something? You want kidney and chocolate? You're not getting it. Kidney and chocolate is not happening, all right? You get one or the other. I bet you want one more. I remember the first time he told me that story, I was floored. I was like, yeah, it does seem unreasonable. You know, you waking up stitched up and everything. And she's like, well. Nah, it does feel crazy. A whole kidney too, man. And y'all in love, y'all are donor match. It's hard to not do it. You kind of have to. You know, I want to be with you forever. And he used to love to tell that story. He would basically tell that story every Valentine's Day that I worked there. He would tell that story because he thought it was so funny to make her mad all over again about how he didn't do anything. Because then she would kind of get mad all over again, and we're like she would get madder because she knew he was only telling us because we would be on his side because he gave the kidney, which is a pretty big deal. And finally, there was one year I noticed that I didn't see them, right? And I just thought about them. Like I didn't have their numbers or anything, and we were just talking, passing and stuff. And the next year came around, and they came in, and I was happy to see them again because I only get to talk to them when they're there, and they're always very entertaining. And he started in again. He started in on a story of how, Valentine's Day gave him kidney. And then she was like, well, I don't want to hear about that kidney stuff anymore. Because last year, smiling, she says, this last year he got in a car accident. He got in a car accident. And guess who needed blood? And then I watched them argue for 45 minutes. For a good portion of my shift, I watched them argue about the merits of blood over kidney. It's like, I don't want to hear about that kidney, boy. I gave you so much blood. You full of my blood now. I've been watching the Winter Olympics, and wow, this one's been a mess. I don't even know how many medals we have, to be honest. Like, I haven't been following that at all. I've just been following the catastrophes. Like this dude, okay, there was this athlete, he won bronze. He wins bronze, he walks up to the first camera ready to talk to him. And they're like, how do you feel about your win, right? And he's like, hey, this is something I gotta say. 6 months ago, I met the love of my life. And because I didn't know where it was going, I was sure this dude was about to propose. I was puzzled. I thought this dude was about to propose, which already seemed like a bad idea. I'm like, I don't think she here. Like, if you're taking an interview on the course, unless she's behind the cameraman, I don't know if this is a good idea, bro. And it's like 6 months ago, I met the love of my life. And 3 months ago, I made the biggest mistake of my life. It's like, all right, what does this have to do with athletics? Okay, tell me more. I made the biggest mistake of my life, and I cheated on her. And I was like, oh, that's why she's not there, okay. This is making sense now. And I cheated on her, and I told her last week, and this has been one of the worst weeks of my life. She broke up with me. I've been racked with guilt. And look, I know he wasn't done with the speech yet, but in my head, I was like, oh, I wish I could have talked to him ahead of time because a couple pointers. the fact that he's like, I told her last week and I've been racked with guilt for a week. I'm like, ooh, okay. That does make it sound like you didn't mind the other 2 months. And he's like, I don't even know what this is gonna accomplish. And in my head, I was like, nothing. But I was trying not to interrupt him in my head and just listen to the whole thing. He's like, I don't know what this is gonna accomplish, but I just hope. And he started crying. And I was like, oh, okay, look, listen. As men, we should cry more. We should be able to cry openly. But when you did something bad and I don't know you and you're telling me you did something bad as a first impression and you start crying, it does not make me feel anything for you. Imagine if you're meeting someone for the first time. You don't know each other at all, haven't exchanged names or anything, and the first thing they say to you when you meet them is, I didn't want to hurt him. I'm like, oh, get away from me. Get away from me. Uh-oh, all right, you about to make me pray. I will rebuke you in your face. No. And then, he's like, thanks so much. Pretty sure he walked away without answering the question. And then I saw news reports of it where they were like, the bronze was won by the biathlete who then went on to proclaim his love for his girlfriend that he cheated on. And I heard that and I was like, why does it matter that he's bi? It doesn't really seem like part of the story. And then I did the mildest amount of Googling and found out that there is something called the biathlon. That's my bad. And he gets asked a question about it later at an official press conference, and they were like, what was that? What was that at all? Because that, I mean, did she call? And he was like, no, I haven't heard back. I don't even know if she's seen it. And in my head, I'm like, bruh, she saw it. There's no way. This is... I don't know if she saw it. I just, basically embarrassed her on a world stage. So I have no idea if she saw it yet. And then he's like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just blew up my whole career. And I was like, maybe? And then in the Olympic Village, it happened again. It happened again. They don't learn from anything. It happened again to the Olympics again. In the Olympic Village, they done ran out of condoms. I don't even know who's at fault anymore. I really don't. They had thousands. I don't know who's at fault anymore. If it's the, International Olympic Committee, or if it's the athletes. At a certain point, I think you're eating them. There's no way. Yo, there's no way. What a dumb scandal to have. And then you let the athletes tell it, and they sound so... When they've talked to the reporters, I understand that a lot of what is being said is being translated into English. I get that. I understand. But you have to understand that in any language, some of the word choice is sounding very desperate. It's like... people have been quoted like, we don't know what to do. There are people quoted sound devastated, you know? We don't know what to do. That's amazing. It's brought us to a screeching halt. These are, man, incredible. And it makes me wonder, like, when? Aren't y'all tired? You know, I try to give respect to every Olympic event that takes place, because it's something that I don't do at a world-class level. But at the same time, y'all clearly got a lot of energy afterwards. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm starting to think that skiing is just like falling right. Like, if you could just fall forward standing up just right, maybe it's not as exhausting as I thought. Because I've been watching the Winter Olympics. I saw that cross-country skiing. Why? That cross-country skiing looks like one of the hardest things. That looks like what they should make you do if you go to jail. Like that cross-country skiing just seems crazy. It seems like it'd be faster to run. Like, why? I'd be so mad if somebody took me cross-country skiing. I'd be furious if somebody took me cross-country skiing. I've already never been skiing, right? But if somebody took me cross-country skiing, especially before I knew what it meant, because I found out this year. Because I'm assuming every skiing competition is just like a varied amount of like, whoa. You know what I mean? Like even sometimes they got bent sticks, sometimes they got straight sticks. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Sometimes no. That's already scary enough. When I see them flying down a mountain, I'm like, that's something that I think I'm good. You never want to say never, and you never want to say I can't, but I can't never do that. That is for them specifically. Everyone who wants to do it. Because when they fall, the snow doesn't even look soft. It looks like they fell on a bunch of white rocks. And so if someone took me skiing, and they were like, yeah, we're going to go cross-country skiing. I'm like, wow, the mountain's that big? And then, thank you. Just one friend caught it. But then, in my head, it's like, okay, whether it's a bunny slope or it's like the black diamond thing or a ruby, I don't know what they do. There's a certain amount of like slope, and then if you fall, it's a certain amount of pain and injuries. I think if you fall at the end, you fall fast, but it's only one fall. If you fall early, you're gonna be falling for a while. I've watched people, cause look, I've done shows out in like ski resort areas before. So in the distance, I've seen people fall, and wow, the beautiful dust clouds people make as they fall down. The skiing, the only thing that when you fall, you look like Tom and Jerry. You look like, I don't even see you, but I assume it hurts. Wow, just bust. And so if somebody took me, I'd be like, okay, all right, you're gonna have to get over a little bit of your fear of heights. You're gonna have to get over a little bit of that fear of maybe going a little too fast. You're gonna have to work on your angles, you know, being agile and everything. And then I show up and I'm like, all right, I'm ready. Start me on something a little slow first, so that way I can... And then they tell me, oh, no, you don't have to worry about any of that. No, we're going up. Do you know how offended I would be if someone took me skiing to come work? That's... Because then you watch this guy, the dude who, one of the winners I was watching, and he was doing 6-minute miles. 6 minutes it took him to clear a mile with skis on that he didn't need. Skis that shouldn't be on his feet, 6 minutes. You might as well have just made him hold a cinder block and run as far as he could, as fast as he can. Oh, some of these sports are insane. Like I always thought I liked the bobsled because of Cool Runnings. Every Winter Olympics, I tell myself I'm a watch the bobsledding and I'm a root for everybody black. And it's not until you see a bobsledding accident where you're like, oh yeah, maybe nobody should be doing this. Maybe you might as well be in a gun if you were gonna bobsled down. I knew they were going fast because they go so fast past the camera, but it's not until one, I don't know if y'all saw that one accident where one dude was fully in, and then the other teammates were running, and then one of them, and then his foot went up and he flew backwards, and then the other dude, I think he got dragged for a second. And I was like, nah, I'm good. Even the curling this year has been phenomenal. I didn't know I would root for curling this hard. See the American curlers, they're doing crazy things. I didn't know that I could get so obsessed with the technique, which I know nothing about. But there's just, once you're in it, once you feel like you're immersed in the sport, you don't need to know the rules to get very upset. They had that moment because you see them, right? You see them, they're over here pushing the thing. Then they start yelling instructions. They're like, curl, curl, curl. And look, I still don't know what that means, but I'm assuming he means sweep, sweep, clean it up, clean it up. Could never let me on the team. I'd be yelling all types of just ignorant stuff it's dusty, it's dusty. Polish, polish. And when you see them knock 2 of the stones out and keep their stone in, I lose my mind. I lose my mind every time. I thought I didn't care about this sport. I thought I liked it and I'd watch it a little bit if it was on, but then, when Canada and Sweden got into it, some of y'all don't know about this. Okay, so Canada. Now, once again, I don't know the rules. I don't know the rules at all, so I don't even know if anything bad happened. But Sweden accused Canada of cheating to their face. And then this Canadian dude, he had the rock and he was over here. And apparently when you let go, you're supposed to let go. Nothing else supposed to happen, but he went it's looks like he did a little pluck, Just give it a little extra. And this dude from Sweden, he's like, oh, okay, I guess that's what we do. I guess we're allowed to touch the rock after we push it and everything. And then this dude from Canada had way more bass in his voice than I'm used to. This dude from Canada was like, who? Who, me? lost it, started cursing at this dude. I was like, man, you would never thought Canada and Sweden. Canada and Sweden ready to go to war over curling. Oh, I think it's phenomenal. I've been watching it. I like to guess if it's a good throw or not. Because some of them let go, and as soon as they let go, I'm like, no, you done ruined it. Ooh. And they'll be sweeping. How do their arms not get tired? Those forearms must be on fire. I had a friend who started curling just for fun with his friends, and I was like, man, I know he must be trash at it. I knew he had to be bad. I didn't even see him play, but I knew he was terrible because his apartment was so dirty. I was like, you're not even getting the practice in that you should be. This is the easiest practice. There's some right there. There's some dust right there. You're not in love with the game. That's your problem. In the ski jump, I'll be honest with you, I didn't know how ski jumping even worked. Anytime I watch skiing, I'm in awe. I'm like, all right, that's far to fall. But the ski jump specifically, because that one, you're going down the hill as fast as possible, and then you shoot off. You shoot off. You just explode forward into the air. It's the one. If you don't know what the ski jump, it's the one where they're like on it, but then they do this. And they do it for so long. In my head, there's no way they're not screaming. Yeah. There's no way you don't do the ski jump and the whole time. And this team from Norway was disqualified. Like, even the equipment people were disqualified because they tried to cheat. Basically, what they did was they added a couple extra stitches to the crotch. I didn't think that was a big deal. But that's because I don't really know physics. Apparently, the ski jump is all about lift and drag and all this other stuff that I probably should have paid attention to my sophomore year in high school. But basically, by adding a couple extra stitches and a little extra room in the crotch, when they expand, they become an even better flying squirrel, you know? Because the crotch is sort of center of mass. It wouldn't help to put extra fabric on like the shoulders. The crotch is really where it's at. And so as they're flying, they hope to like create a little bit of a parachute, like a little extra parachute by adding stitches to the crotch. Because they said that even adding like a couple of centimeters could translate with all that speed and with all that extra lift, and with that much of a difference in drag, a couple of centimeters could end up being like 10 feet. I know. I know. I was blown away. In my head, I was like, why don't they just like eat more then cut weight right before the event, you know, lose a couple pounds of water weight, and then you got a whole bag. Even the opening of the games was wild. Because the opening of the games, when J.D. Vance got booed. Man, That was hilarious. Because here's the thing. I can tell you as someone who's been on stage that initially, when you're getting booed, it's very hard to distinguish boo from woo. Initially, I heard the W, but then y'all gotta understand the rest was noise. And so I'm sure, JD Vance showing up, and then they wooed for the people from the U.S., right? They wooed for the people from the U.S. representing the United States. And I don't know who was upset. I don't know why they did it, but they decided to throw JD up on the screen. You gotta understand, JD wasn't walking out with them. He was just there. And then someone threw him on the screen. And not since the Coldplay Kiss Cam have people been this upset. This is... People were mid-woo. They were mid-woo for the people from the U.S. All these athletes, woo, ooh, yeah, Aaron Jonhson, get it, yeah, woo. As soon as they saw JD, like, woo. Because you gotta understand, there's also no elegant boo. There's never a boo that, like, it gets the point across. There's never a boo where you're like, boo, boo. No, every boo I've ever heard of, every boo I've ever heard just sounds a little exhausted at the end. Because woo, you now want to stop so that you can enjoy the thing you were wooing. Woo! Woo! Boo, you don't even know what you want to have happen next. Because once again, JD did not walk out with them. Somebody threw him on the screen. And then he was looking up at the screen. And people... I love the way a boo ends. Because boo usually is, you just run out of breath. Woo is with love. Boo is with so much, hey, you didn't account for how much air you needed in your lungs to start the boo. So when you woo, that's why some of them are short and they still get the point across. Like, woo, yeah. Wow, wow. Boo, boo. Boo, boo. Boo. And then they interviewed JD afterwards about being booed, which I was like, come on now. Booing somebody is bad enough, but interviewing somebody who you're only interviewing them from being booed. He didn't do anything athletic. He didn't. They're just interviewing him because he got booed, which I didn't know was worthy of an interview. I feel like everybody said everything they needed to say. We saw him get booed. Imagine the reporter that's like, I gotta get the scoop. Like, this dude got booed. We know what happened. There's no more investigating you need to. They ask him like how it felt to be booed or what his reaction was or anything. It's like, man. That would be like if the school newspaper was like, why are you going to the dance by yourself? No. Interviewing somebody that just got booed is up there with like when Joe Rogan used to interview fighters who had just been knocked out. It was like Joe Rogan rolled right up to him. How'd that make you feel? And they're over here. I can't wait for the fight to start, Joe. Let me at him. No, they interviewed JD. JD was like, well, you know, it's the Olympic Games. It shouldn't be a place for politics. You know, they should focus on their country and making their country great at everything. And I was like, man, you're not good on the fly. Like you can tell it's really bothered you. You know, you seem shook. You know? No, it's just funny because it's like, it's the Olympics. It shouldn't be a place for politics. I'm like, it sounds like it's not a place for you. Like, politics aside, the world is there. Look, I haven't always done well on stage. You know, I've had some bad reactions before. I've never been booed by the world. That's crazy. I've never gathered people together from all parts of the world and heard a resounding boo! That was crazy. Because then you step